Alisha curry, and I'm going to be making a rice noodle with a broccoli tofu stir fry. This is a rather simple dish to do, and but there is quite a bit of prep work. So we just want to make sure that we have all of our meats and pot together, and we're going to get started. So let's get started and make some delicious broccoli tofu stir fry. Right here we have an extra firm tofu. This is a 1 pound package you can find in any convenience store, and we have some of the product already. But what we're going to do is we're going to cut the tofu. The original package was cut in half, and we're going to then take the remaining part of the tofu and just kind of show you. We're going to do a nice bite-sized piece that's going to be stir fried up for you. So we're going to take it in half, and when you're doing knife work, it is very important to make sure that you have a sharp knife within your kitchen and be very aware of what you're doing with your knife. So we're going to take your fingers tucked under and place snugly against the guard or the shaft of the blade itself to prevent any injury. You're just going to cut down. You're going to lay that on its side, and you're going to cut down again, and you're going to cut down again. And we're just going to do these in bite-sized pieces and set it off to the side while it gets happy and settles there for a moment or two. One of the things that we've done ahead, just with a concept of time, is we went ahead and made some rice noodles. Now this is a 1 pound package of rice noodles. This is cooked according to package. But I would like to bring to your attention that I used approximately 8 quarts of boiling water. I thought, the recipe package actually called for about 7, but I didn't find that there was enough water to make the noodles soft enough for the actual recipe itself. Boy, is anybody nervous? Because I know I am. Moving right along from there, we're going to get started on a couple of our meats and foie before we actually start some frying. Here we have garlic. Garlic comes in a bowl of many different sizes. And what we're going to do is we're going to mince this garlic. So what you want to do is lay your blade flat, parallel with your cutting board. You're going to get that sucker a good whack. Work out that frustration that we all seem to have from time to time. What this does is it gives you the opportunity to remove the skin in as whole of a piece as possible, but the garlic is going to be minced. So you want to get all that great flavor out of the garlic, and at times the smaller the garlic is cut, the more flavor that you're going to render out of it when you actually do your cutting. So with some garlic, there is a root piece, and you just want to go ahead and cut that off. Some people care for it. My palate isn't one of those. So we're going to take it, again, fingers tucked under, place against the shaft of the blade, and you're just going to cut down. This garlic is going to be minced, so once you get it on one side, you want to go ahead and just get that puppy down to where they're nice small minced pieces. I happen to be a big fan of garlic, so when I'm feeling a little under the weather, I take it old school and eat a clove of garlic, which helps me feel better, and it also wards off any vampires. So going from there, we're going to go ahead and scoop up your garlic, and I'm going to place it along with the rest of the garlic that I already have prepared. And with this recipe, this calls for 6 cloves of garlic. I went ahead and actually added 7 again because I do not like vampires. So from there, we're going to move on to the shallot. The shallot is a pleasant mixture of both onion and garlic. It has a nice subtle flavor of both herbs. And what we're going to do with this is I'm going to actually show you how to slice a shallot. And we're going to also add that into our mise en place. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to cut off the root end because we don't want that a part of our shallot or a part of our recipe. So we're going to cut that off. And we're going to cut off the top end of the shallot. And then from there, we're just going to give a very slight horizontal line down the middle just to take off the outer skin, much like what you would do with an onion. So we're going to take a little slice down, and then with our happy gloves, we're going to go ahead and peel this off. At times it can be a little easy if you feel it's necessary to take off the outer skin of your shallot, much like what you do with an onion. That's perfectly fine. You're not going to lose any integrity of the actual shallot, and nor any integrity of your within your meal itself. I also like to bring to your attention that when you're cooking and preparing any dish, you want to have some type of garbage bowl so you can just throw it in there so stuff is not all over the place. So we're going to go back, we're going to thinly slice our shallots. Remember keeping your fingers tucked in because fingers belong on your hands and not in your food. So we're going to go ahead and slice that down. With slicing a shallot or any other type of object that would have a rocking capability, you want to have it on the flattest surface possible of that unit, meaning that if the shallot was completely round, I would cut a flat edge on the bottom of the shallot and use that as a stationary precaution so that when I'm cutting, the object isn't rocking back and forth and all over the place. I mean, we will wobble, but we don't fall down. So, going from there, we're going to go ahead and slice up the rest of this shallot and just get that sliced down. And we're going to add that to the remaining part of our mise en place. Mise en place simply means having everything prepared and in its place, so that while you're cooking, you're not running here and there, all over the mulberry bush to get things situated. Going from there, I would like to show you what I found to be a very simple way of preparing minced ginger. This recipe does call for about approximately 2 teaspoons of minced ginger. You can go up, you can increase that if you like, and you can also decrease it depending on what your preference of ginger is. So what I found one of the easiest ways of handling ginger is you're going to take a spoon, just a regular teaspoon out of your kitchen, and you're going to use the spoon facing towards the actual piece of ginger. And you're just going to scrape down. And with scraping down, it removes the outer skin without ruining the rest of the ginger. So you'll have, if it's a juicy piece, like that one is, you're going to probably get a little kickback, but then you can use that as a perfume for the rest of the day. Don't worry about it. So we're just going to go ahead and finish this off. There's no need to go out and buy one of those nice little handy, gadgets for doing ginger or anything of that nature. You can just use the teaspoon or tablespoon that you have in your own kitchen. I'm going to go ahead and take that little extra nugget off. I don't really think that we need to have that right now. And we're going to, what I'm going to do, what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and slice down the ginger. Now the ginger, I would like to bring to your attention, is a little on the woody side. So with it being on the woody side, please be aware that your knife control is very important. You want to use the heel of the knife or the larger, wider part of the knife as much as possible, keeping the tip of your knife on your cutting board. This will give, with using the back end of the knife, this will give you, you're going to let the knife do all the work. Granted, considering that it is sharp utensil, and you're not going to have so much rocking motion in your arm. So it's just going to kind of slide through. Let me demo for that for you. Okay, slides through. So we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to mince this. So we're going to have, I'm going to slice this down. I'm just going to bring the product all into a small pile, and we're going to mince it. Just get that nice and just small. Small's a good word. Yeah, we're going to go with small. So from there, we're mincing this down. And while mincing it, you will notice that there probably will be some woody aspects of it. Probably, camera, can you zoom in and see that right there? There's a couple woody aspects of it. However, that is okay. It will be digested, and you shouldn't have much heartburn from that. But I'm going to add that to the rest of my mise en place. And moving on to the next item I'd like to demo for you is the actual jalapeno. Oof. So with jalapenos, the outside of the jalapeno along with the inside of the jalapeno is intensely spicy. So if you happen to be sensitive to spices, this will definitely be a bandit for you. What you're going to do with the jalapeno, turning your knife blade out if you're not using it, don't have it facing you. What you're going to do, and I saved a piece to show you, is within the jalapeno, the inside of it is what is actually the spiciest part. The seeds along with the membrane of the jalapeno. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut out all of the white part, the membrane along with the seeds, and remove that, and then mince the remaining part of it. So we're going to bring it down, bring it around. Be very aware of what your knife is doing, meaning be aware of your hand. Safety is definitely first. And all of these parts, you see here, the seeds and the membrane, this is all what's very spicy. So we're going to try to get as much of that out as possible. And we're just going to move off the garbage part, because we do not need that. Knife blade away from you. And from here, what we're going to do is we're going to, again, fingers tucked under, safety first, is we're going to cut the jalapeno into julienne strips. And then from there, we're going to, again, fingers tucked under, we're going to make a very small dice. And with doing a dice, or please don't feel like you have to cut everything all at once. Take a few, be very aware of safety. Take a few, then come back and take the rest. Remember, fingers are used to eat with, not to eat.
Alisha, 10 minutes.
Yes. Okay, so let's get started on this stir fry. As I demic myself. Here we have the convection oven. Conduction oven. Tomatoes, not. And what we're going to use is a tablespoon of peanut oil. Now this unit is going to get very, very hot. So while that heats up, I'm going to glove up again. At this point, it's rock and roll time. We add our peanut oil, and what we're first going to add is in the tofu. There's a slight sizzle, but when you're doing this, you want to have your pan as hot as possible, and you want your tofu to get brown on all sides. So we're browning. While this is cooking, I was practicing this piece at home, and I have a 2-year-old. And whenever I'm in the kitchen, my daughter likes to be in the kitchen with me. She feels that, mommy's there, it's her obligation to be there too. So she looked at me and said, "Mommy, what is?" And I said, "It's tofu." So she looked at me and said, "Tofu?" And at that point, I just figured, okay, we're making tofu, and I said to Indigo, my daughter's name is Indigo, one of the main components of this recipe is actually broccoli. So I said, "Indy, can you say broccoli?" She said, "A little tweet," and that's how it's been ever since. So this is brown. I mean, this is a little ahead of time, but in essence of time, this is what we're going to do ahead. We're going to go ahead and add in our jalapeno. When doing this recipe at home, you're going to brown and then remove your tofu set aside until you're ready. But again, in essence of time, these have been reduced a little bit. We're going to add in ginger, garlic. Now all of these spices and seasonings are going to be absorbed by the tofu. Tofu itself has no flavor. So we're going to stir all this around. Maybe add a little bit more oil. Yeah, that's a little bit better. When you're frying it up, if the tofu happens to fall apart a little bit, you're just going to want to let it sit and fry. And once it turns brown, then it will release itself from the pan. Next, we're going to add in we're going to add in the rice noodles. And you're just going to grab a couple handfuls of rice noodles. And the rice noodle is going to steam along with the broccoli. So we're going to add in some broccoli. And what's going to help all this kind of gel together is the fish sauce and soy sauce.
Alisha, 13 minutes.
Okay, so then to garnish, plate this up really quick. We're gonna bring it over and rest it on top. There will definitely be some bits left over. And a simple garnish with some basil. You just want to kind of make it look a little pretty. And there we have broccoli tofu stir fry.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions for Alisha? No questions? Now, I see that this is mostly a vegetarian dish,
This is primarily a vegetarian dish.
but you can add proteins to it,
You can
meat
definitely
protein.
add proteins to it. You can swap out your tofu and add in some sauteed shrimp or either chicken or meat.
Very nice. Very nicely done. Very good. It's that time.